Hello, hello. So I thought I'd jump in here just to talk about breaking news. I was just signing on to see what the U.S. military said about. Uh, so the U.S. Navy said about the North Korean missile test. He said in a statement that the missile, quote, did not leave North Korean territory, suggesting that it broke up in flight. So, how often does a missile just sort of break up in flight? And how many times in a row does your missile have to break up in flight? It seems like missiles wouldn't. Seems like they wouldn't break up in flight, right? So, did you see President Trump's tweet on this topic, which I just retweeted? I'm going to read it to you because it's just another. It's a classic. I said it was one of his best tweets. I'm just going to call it up here so you can look at it. All right. So here's the president's tweet, if you can see it. Let's see. North Korea disrespected the wishes of China and its highly respected president when it launched, though unsuccessfully, a missile today. Bad. Come on, is that the best thing you've seen today? Every time he does a tweet like this, where he so perfectly captures, let's just say the mindset of the ordinary voter, completely bypassing the intellectuals, the pundits, the journalists, the New York Times. He's completely ignoring those fuckers. And he's just talking directly to the people, the way the people talk. And he's even got this branding going where he says bad at the end of things, or sad, or bad. And you laugh every time you see it. That's the one of the tells for persuasion, is if you laugh but you're not sure exactly why. So when he says at the end bad, it makes me laugh. But if you ask me why is that funny, I don't know. It's just persuasive. But look at all the persuasion he packed into one tweet. He starts with North Korea disrespected the wishes of China's highly respected president. So he's starting off by saying that we respect China, but those poor North Koreans, apparently they're not respecting the guy. So he's further using his persuasion to put China in a headlock, sort of a loving headlock, because we're friends. But if the president of China wants to get out of this little box of shame he just found himself in, the only way he's going to do it is make something happen in North Korea. Now, here's the question. Now that we've seen two missile launches, different types of missiles, that let's say they came apart in midair, or they came apart on the launching pad. They got a lot of rockets coming apart, don't you think? Do you think that any of that is an accident? Coincidence. So the funny thing is that you really don't know if North Korea knows what's going on. You don't know. Because they're probably doing the same thing we're doing, which is, how would we really know if we had a bad chip? Because presumably the only way you'd give somebody some hacked software is if it's as good as Stuxnet and really good at hiding. Right? It's not going to be, ordinary commercial grade hack. It's going to be military grade. It's going to be hidden so well that even North Korea doesn't know what components are affected, if that's what's happening, or what's hacked, or they don't know if there's been a laser beam from one of our drones that took it out at the base. They don't know. My guess is that it might be that nobody knows. It could be that President Trump doesn't know what blew that missile up either. It's possible. I'm sure people are telling him different versions of it, but he might not even know either. But so he played it perfectly right. He just he just mentions that it's unsuccessful. It came apart in the air, sort of by itself. They do that. Let's talk about Firefest. So, true story, a number of months ago, my girlfriend Christina got contacted by the organizers of the event and said, hey, we'll fly you over here just to be one of the beautiful people because we're promising that there will be lots of beautiful people. And so they would have, paid her trip and stuff. And she asked me, what do you think about this? And she told me a little bit about it. And she was allowed to bring a friend. And so she goes, hey, you could come along. And I said, no, I'm pretty sure that when they say to a model, bring a friend to our event, they're not really saying bring your boyfriend. I'm pretty sure that wasn't what they had in mind. So anyway, that didn't work out for us. We decided that would not be a trip we could make as a couple. So we didn't think about it again until the whole thing blew up today. So we're pretty happy that we didn't go to that. Oh, thanks. All right, I'm going to have to go in a moment. I just got a notice on my phone from WenHub that Christina's on the way. So I will be able to track and know when she's on the way. Estonia. Is it true that marijuana is practically legal in Estonia? I read that. Almost legal. Yeah, that's what I read. That basically there's no real problem with it in Estonia. Predict when the wall will be built. I think the wall is a process. It's not now you build it and now it's done. I think it's just this ongoing process. It will be a variety of solutions in a variety of ways. Probably a lot of testing, I would think, in the short run. El Chapo will build it. Yeah, the El Chapo thing is pretty clever. Talk about Tony Robbins. Is he the real deal? Yes, Tony Robbins is a disciple of, I can't remember if it's Grindr or Bandler, but they were a team, at least a book writing team, who popularized neuro-linguistic programming, NLP. So Tony Robbins came out of that influence, and those two guys that influenced him came out of the Milton Erickson influence. Milton Erickson was sort of the father of hypnosis in the United States. He was the big name. So yes, Tony Robbins has actual skills that are actually useful. And when you hear people say, my God, Tony Robbins changed my life and turned everything around, almost guarantee that that's true. There may be obviously exceptions, and he's helped thousands and thousands of people, so you have to assume it didn't work for everyone, right? But in terms of, is it the real deal? Is it a valid method? Is it repeatable? Do people get huge benefits out of it? Yeah, just about as big as you can get. It's the real deal. Really? Does he hypnotize his audience? Not in the sense of an induction, no. But in the sense of being persuasive, of course. That's why you go. He's trying to make you think differently. That's the whole point. Oh, so, yeah, let's talk. I just saw a comment about Trump, quote, whining about that the presidency was harder than he thought. So most people saw him say that and say, hey, Trump says the president is harder than I thought. And their interpretation is, my God, that freaking moron, how did he not know this was going to be a hard job? Did he think it was going to be easy to be the president? So that's how most people are responding to that. And of course, as usual, I have a completely different interpretation. When President Trump says, I was surprised how hard this job is, he's just talking like every person with a job. Every person with a job says that. Oh my God, I didn't realize it would be so much overtime. I didn't know that the commute would be this long. He basically is just pacing you. He's just saying, I got a job. You got a job, and I hope the rest of you will get jobs. I'm helping you get jobs. And you know what? Hey, jobs. They're harder than you think they ought to be. It's so amazingly folksy and relatable, and yet the intellectuals look at this, the elites, and they're saying, "Oh my God, what a hillbilly! He didn't know that the presidency was going to be hard." Well, here's a little hint for you. Yeah, he fucking knew the presidency was going to be hard. He's not really surprised. He's just saying that because he's being folksy, and it went down very well. I have to say, it made it more relatable. It sounded really honest, and on some level, I think it was completely honest. He obviously knew it was a hugely, challenging job, but it might be harder than even he thought. So it's just a very relatable thing to say. Is that, well, I got into this, and it's harder than I thought it would be. It's just so human. And he's being criticized for really pitch perfect pacing. Pitch perfect pacing. All right, I got to go now. I've got company, and it was fun talking to you on this breaking news. All right, got to go. Bye-bye.